In a feedback loop, we've got these terms positive feedback and negative feedback. And I just want to take a minute to dismantle the idea that those are have a value attached to them. Positive feedback actually refers to being an amplifier, something that reinforces a disturbance. And negative feedback, rather than being negative, is a force of conservation. They restore balance and pull the system back.
How do collaborative audience players negotiate the rules of the game together?
The challenge is a group challenge of everyone upholding the fiction as best they can in like sort of a structured improv sort of scenario. And part of that self-regulating is not just to stay in character as best you can and to accept everything offered, but also to behave in the way that is accepted by the group. And that's continually negotiated amongst the people there.
Everyone has a different desire out of play. Like everyone enjoys play differently. And some people, including myself, get a lot of joy out of like building the ideal, system or the ideal sort of mechanics. But I think if we keep that collaborative spirit, I think a bit of meta, gaming meta experiencing in terms of like building cool systems, I think is still fun.
Just reading the chat, obviously, I forget, it might have been Peter said, absolutely not, you cannot replay things like escape rooms. And I think probably what separates if something has replayability or not is if the success comes from solving puzzles or getting answers, or if the success comes from experiences.
What impact does found space have on the participating bodies that are in it?
People arrive at a particular place, like a theater, as you say, and there is certain rules and conventions that are socially agreed upon, that we watch theater, we are very quiet, we clap at the end, we laugh and whatever in between. And I like playing with those expectations. I like pushing the boundaries of that. We had in our offline chat, we had a really, we talked a little bit about how Monday nights, for example, is a basketball play inside a theater as opposed to it being on an actual basketball court. And what that does to an audience's expectation as they arrive, as we ask them to not be quiet and cheer and be belligerent and walk out at any time. So I think it's interesting, the expectation of the places that we go to and how we play with them.
Eavesdrop, the coffee shop show, which was an audio play in coffee shops. And there was always like accidental, well, not even accidental, but collateral audience, like people that are just in the coffee shop. And from a creator perspective, when the coffee shop was full and buzzing, the show was better just because we had our people on our wireless headphones that were like experiencing the show, but the show was explicitly meant to be responding to coffee shop culture. So,
and the ways in which the theater artist or the company has thought about my position, my physical position in that found space, how they move me through that site, how my body might create that stage, that definition between actor and audience.
Questions of who our neighbors are and who lives in this community, who works here, and how can my work not how can my work not be disruptive to the environment, but even more so, how might my work be a benefit to the people who are here?
How does the sensory experience of the audience affect the creation and execution of your work?
My work is about technology, place, and the senses. And for me, it's impossible to think about the senses from the perspective of an individual body. Mm-hmm. To me, the idea of a sensorium is about place as relational. It's about relationships between bodies in place.
Just thinking about the emotional impact of things and the way that a sound or a smell can like immediately take you someplace and transform you somewhere and create something that is emotional.
What has been somewhat successful so far is that you basically create a bunch of processes in place, and you don't really focus on the actual thing itself necessarily, but you create these processes, both physical as well as using the technology, virtual. And you basically play with these processes and you embed yourself inside these processes. And then the more you're inside it, you know, the affect and the gestures start to emerge out of it, as opposed to pre-imagine it and then go out to do it.